Whoa.
We're back and with more Forge Motorsport products. So today, Shane here, who's a certified technician, ASCE, is going to be installing the Forge Motorsport front mount intercooler for this car. Cool. The factory one, which is down here, one side end tank is metal and the other one's plastic, so that's neat. The other thing is the Yaris front radiator structure here is a little more accommodating to take this off, whereas the GR Corolla is less so. So Shane's gonna be in for a little treat today, hopefully. Hopefully more of a treat than a trick. And yeah, he's gonna take it from here. If I need to come in and give a hand, I am here for you. More for him than the camera.
I'll give you a hand.
We have this lovely core. It's powder coated black, wrinkle black. So this part up here looks like it goes in front of the AC condenser. And then this is what's gonna take the place of the factory one. It's got some nice bolt mounting points. And then we got some other tubes here. We have this hard tube. And then we have these tubes here. And then they also include this stencil. So if we want to stencil on the Forge Motorsport logo on the front, which it probably will. So yeah, I'll take it from here. I'll see y'all later.
I'm glad he's gone now, you know. Hey. Gotta get him out of the video. Oh, he can still hear us.
As you can see, we already have the front bumper off. That's because we are taking the lights off to do fun stuff with it. It looks like, so far, that all I'm gonna need is a 10 mil, a 12 mil, and a panel popper. It looks like we're gonna have to take this crash bar off here. It has this guy on here. Just kind of pop this right off. This is only held on by these guys. Little foam, you know. So be careful, don't break them, because this is what holds them on. I was already in there looking to see what we had to do. There's these 3 clips that I took off. They go, 2 are right here for this little guy, and then there's one underneath that I took off already for this. I'll show you where that one is in a second. I'm gonna take this off. The instructions say you don't have to. You can leave it on. I'm gonna take it off just because on the like Jeff was saying, the Yaris, there is access to the side here of the intercooler where the clamps are. Well, on here, there's not. So I'm gonna take this off just so I have more light and visibility and go from there. So for this shield, there is 6 10 mils under here. There's, actually I lied, there's only 4 on here. See, the instructions are for the Yaris, so I thought there were 6, there's only 4. This is where the clip was that I pre-took off to see what I had to do. There's actually 2 more on the side here. I did not see this one, it blends in. Set this just back here so it's out of my way. Alright, now this piece can actually pop off. Those 2 clips right here, as you can see, 2 holes. 12 mil, get this crash bar off. Alright, now we have all the access to the intercooler. Hey,
it's a puppy!
Doggo. So after I got that off, I noticed we have these air deflectors that are connected to the front of the intercooler. As you can see right here, it slides down into it. There is a clip I noticed right in there that we got to take one off here, one over there. Should be able to get these 2 side pieces off.
Like little push guys.
Push pins.
The push pins.
That's what they're called. Why?
Push pins?
Jesus.
Push pins. Oh, hello.
So I noticed we need a pair of pliers quick. There is these 2 pieces. There's 2 pieces that are separate here. These 2 little tabs that need to be pushed together so that we can separate this from the deflector that we are trying to take off. So you will have to bend this just a little bit to get it out. Nothing crazy, it's plastic. It could take it. And taking this off, I noticed there's 2 little tabs here. Tried to get them with a pair of pliers on the other side. They weren't working. There are some pliers, the pliers I was trying to use they wouldn't open enough. So I ended up just taking a longer pick and getting in the backside here to push each one separately, and then I was able to pull this out. Pull this up out of the intercooler. So in order to get this out, looks like we would have to take this whole crash beam out. I'm gonna set this aside because we don't need to take it fully out. While we were trying to take this off, these air deflectors, I noticed we're gonna end up having to take this other crash bar off, the main crash support, to get these actually out. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And these are looking like they're gonna be a 16 I will let you know as soon as I grab a socket and grab the right tools. Well, I was wrong about the size. It's a 14. I should have known that. But let's get these 8 bolts out.
Oh, look at the guns.
Yeah.
Tons of guns.
I would recommend using a 1/2 inch ratchet because they're a little bit longer, so you'll have a little bit more torque. If all you have is a 3/8, you'll be alright.
Who even needs a crash bar?
Yeah, we die like men.
We don't have like a impact here or anything?
We probably do, but I like to torture myself and I like to use ratchets and then I like to drop things in there. Which, it's okay if you drop them in there because if you have a magnetic pickup tool, you could do that. Or you could just wait and once we get it out, we could just pull them out the side here like so. Like that. We'll get the other one in a second. Also, if you're using power tools, you'll notice it'll catch a little bit because it's got blue thread locker on it. So don't be afraid of it.
And we also have this wiring harness clipped to that so don't rip it off.
This is a nice sweatshirt, right? I'll put it in the link below. There's only like 6 left.
Now we have all of the room, and these guys can now nicely just come off. This is where I was talking about these clips. You can kind of see in there, you'll see these 2 little tabs. Alright, so what I was talking about with these 2 tabs, this guy on the side, and then this guy on that side. These are where I was saying you can use, probably better off using a pair of pliers on the back side, just squeeze them, and then you should be able to pull it out. Now that we got everything out of the way, there are 2 clamps that we're going to get to that you need a 10 mil for. Now this is where I was saying earlier that and Jeff was saying earlier that the Yaris has a little different. There's an actual panel on that one that pops off so you get easy access to this. You can either use a wrench or if you have a socket 1/4 inch, you can use this 1/4 inch ratchet. And then just loosen this guy up a little bit. Once you see that starting to move, it should be good. We're gonna reposition this, I think, maybe when we go to put the new one in. We're just gonna push it back and out of our way, or forward actually, because it doesn't want to go back. So on this side, we actually can't use the ratchet. It is on the lower side, and we're gonna have to grab a wrench. So I'll be right back. I got a 10 mil wrench now. Couldn't find our ratcheting one, so we got just a normal, which will take a little bit longer with just a normal wrench, but it's okay. I know not everybody's got ratcheting wrenches. Alright, and then if you got little tiny hands, you can snake them in here, pull it forward. Now we'll grab our 10 mil ratchet and get those 3 bolts off. Actually, you know what? We're gonna start on this side, because on this side there is a pin that holds it in place, kind of like some of the radiators that have a lower rubber mount. Now that this is loose, you can kind of see that it's already moving on us. So that's why I say do that side first. That way, you know, if you're doing this by yourself, don't have to hold up this side while you take that side off. There's going to be some resistance because it's still connected to the hoses. So if you just pull a little bit, and there we go. This is the intercooler, and this is what Jeff was talking about, where this side is aluminum and this side's plastic. Little Indian in the cupboard, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you just said.
You've never seen an Indian in a cupboard, dog?
No. No one knows Shane's like almost 50 years old.
So, I lied to you again in the beginning. We actually need to take the passenger side wheel off. We were going to do just the intercooler for now, but we have the piping. We decided to actually do the silicone hoses as well. I'm going to have to take the passenger wheel off because on this side there is a metal tube that actually gets replaced. That is this guy. That's in a nice little bag from the factory. This guy is actually bolted to the side of either the motor or the subframe. Haven't actually took a close look at it just yet because everything's in the way, but this will get replaced along with the silicone tubing that we got for it. So we're gonna want a 21 mil. If you have a nice power tool to do this, cool. We don't, we just have a breaker bar. These only go to 80 foot-pounds anyways, so they really shouldn't be that tight. We're gonna break these free before we lift it up, just to make our life easier. Now that we got a jack stand there, always use a jack stand. I always leave the jack just to have a secondary for any reason. And I always leave these things close by just in case you have an emergency and you need them for some reason. So now that we got the wheel off, we can get this panel off to get to the silicone hoses. I should say the factory hoses that we're replacing with silicone hoses. Clips here, clip here, and then I want to say there's 2 more underneath. All right, now that I got that panel off, there were 3 up here and there were 3 clips on the bottom. This is the metal pipe I was speaking about that is actually bolted to the subframe. You see these 2 10 mils. This goes up to the silicone hose. We're gonna get the 10 mil for the clamp on the one side and then just take these 2 off and see if we can snake it out as one whole piece. If not, no big deal. We got this clamp we could just take off too. Apparently they didn't want these going anywhere. I think those have been the tightest bolts I've had to deal with yet. Look at that dinky little intake. See the size difference in the tubing that we are switching.
More.
Yeah, more turbo noises. So now we're going to put the intercooler on. If you notice, we put the silicone hoses on without filming it for you guys. Sorry. They all fit on pretty simple. It's straightforward. It's hoses. I figured most of you could do that at this point in time. If not, there is factory hose, what it looks like. On the driver side, you got a 12 mil bolt here that goes into the block. You just take this out. 10 mil clamp, you just take this out, which sits right here. And then this bolt will be roughly right about here, underneath the hose though, not on the top, as you can see. And then this, you literally just pop off and slide it out the bottom. You guys saw me take off one piece. It's just the 2 10 mils right here, clamp. And then this just slid right out the bottom, same way. So as you can see, silicone hose going up to the turbo, go to this metal bracket. They actually give you nuts because this doesn't have a insert backside, so they give you nuts to go onto these factory bolts. I don't have that one tight yet for the clamp, just because in the instructions they didn't really tell you which way to put that hose, and I want to make sure that is correct before I tighten that down. So let's put the intercooler on now. So on the factory intercooler, there is a little rubber guy, little bushing insulator that sits right here on this guy that goes right into here. You can either try to mess with it this way and leave it on here, or you can make your life easier. Just set it on that, and that way you don't have to worry about losing it or it not ending up in there, and then you have a little bit of a noise vibration. All right, so we're gonna actually take this hood latch off because trying to fit that on there, I don't want to scratch it up. So we're just gonna take this off, move it out of the way. What I would recommend doing if you've never messed with any of these is taking a Sharpie, maybe like a silver one, just circling the bolts to make your life a little easier. Or if you really want, there's witness marks on it, which are, if you look here, you can kind of see the round mark there. As long as you put it right back there, you'll be all right. You won't have to worry about hood alignment or latch alignment. We could just toss up out of the way. Big boy in here. Now that coupler I had on here, I tried to put it in. The coupler was kind of stopping me on this side. It's loose. Like I said, the instructions didn't tell me which way it actually goes, because if you notice, one side is longer than the other. So what we're gonna do is, it was fighting me, I just took it off. This way I can set this in here, swing it over, and bolt it up, and then I can fit this. This will be a little easier. It sits naturally a little bit farther back on its own, so that'll help us out. I'm gonna swing that in there, and you'll see that that's sitting in that little rubber grommet. And then, like I was saying, that sits kind of far back as it is. We got the intercooler on, started putting some of it back. This lower crash bar here, we did end up having to make some modification to it because this is for a Yaris kit technically. I'm sure they'll make some changes to it. This bar though, you can see right here, you can see where we kind of cut. There, and then on the other side, air deflectors here. we had to keep out just because we were gonna have to trim them to go around the intercooler. We would have had to trim off a good portion of this, and then once doing so, this would not have been sturdy. The bottom piece would have just floated all over the place. We had to leave that out. Along with this piece went on to here. This actually was hitting too much of the intercooler, so we again had to take this off. We're gonna leave it off for now, just because these are easily to install later on if we find a way to do it without cutting up too much. Now just a bumper when the headlights are done.
Jeff is currently building the headlights, which is why we don't have any headlights back on the car, which is why we have to wait. Whoa, look at these. This will be a separate video of building the Corolla headlights, the first GR custom Corolla headlights in the world.
We're done with the intercooler. We're done with the job today. We just need to wait for the headlights to finish getting built so that we can put the bumper back on. You can pick up these sweet hoodies if you want, you know, like my beard might be in the way. Got some of these left. If you haven't watched the headlight build video yet, Jordan will put a nice little link to it in the video. So click on that and watch it. And hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Bye.